Jide's Diary, episode 7. Banji was looking on from his seat. I signaled to him to come over since I needed him to hear the proposal that was tabled before me. When he came around, I opened my lips to talk. Bola and Bimbo, to what do I owe this August visit? It seems you want to come and say hi to your teacher, but I didn't invite you, did I? I asked, obviously tormenting them. No, sir, you didn't invite us, but they chorused. Then thought because they wanted one of them to talk, probably Bimbo, but she doesn't know where to start from. I cited that, but did as if I did not because the but in their reply was hardly audible. Okay, since you have come to visit me, you can have your seat. Bring that seat over there and sit here, I said, pointing to Banji's chair. Banji was sitting on my table since Shade and I were sitting on my chair, and there was hardly room for an extra pair of bums. While they were gone, Shade still looked puzzled at me but did not know what to say to me. They returned with their chairs and I asked them to place it opposite my table and sit themselves comfortably, but after sitting, they were still uncomfortable. After they had been seated, I told Shade to move over to their side and sit with them. Banji moved from the table to my side on the chair. He had still not talked all along. He was watching the drama unfolding before his eyes. He knew I was in control. The girls were murmuring among themselves as they asked Shade, who was as confused as they were. I let them to talk for close to 5 minutes, then I cleared my voice. They were all alerted and looked up as my voice hit their ears. You are all welcome to our staff room. On behalf of myself and Banji, your economics teacher, I say thank you for taking out time to visit us in this our small cubicle, I said, grinning ear to ear. They were obviously puzzled as it was written all over their faces. They wanted to mask it with the smile they pasted on their faces, but it was not possible for them to do. I looked at them and remembered the saying that if a child claims to have as many clothes as an elder, it can never have as much rag as that elder. They had earlier had me sweating through my birds. Here I am, playing the return leg and winning convincingly and leaving them no room to plan any defense strategy. They all replied, "Thank you, sir." I thought of what next to do. I was thinking either to continue with the suspense or bail them out and let go of it all. The time on my hands was not much. Also, if I let them go that day, Shade would tell them all that happened and they would come back with a better plan. And that would not give me the opportunity to correct the wrong notion they had about themselves. I chose the former and decided to end it once and for all. I cleared my throat once again and looked at them. They looked askance as their eyes were fixed on me and Banji. Banji, on his part, was just enjoying the show. Shade, don't look at me as if I am a devil. Relax and breathe in and out. Bimbo, why are you looking at me as if you've seen a ghost? You, Bola, are you wondering why you are here? I know what the three of you are thinking. Relax and be merry. Should I get you refreshment before we proceed? I asked. No, thank you, sir, they replied. I knew they would not assent to my proposal, but I said it to lighten their moods. It worked. The three of them loosened up within a minute, then I proceeded to the business of the day. Bimbo and Bola, don't be scared. Shade told me all that you had sent her. She is your good friend and she tried all her best to convince me. She even threatened as the three of you had planned. But she told me something that I need to enlighten you all on. I paused for effect. By then, they had loosened up completely and had returned to their buoyant selves. They looked at one another and smiled. Shade had the "didn't I tell you" look on her face. The other two had the "you said it" look on their face. The three had hid a sign of relief and believed that the game is now going back to what they wanted it to be. They were correct. They only needed to hear what I had to say. And if they liked, they can change their lives or still continue with their acts. Sir, that was Bimbo. You really scared us. We did not know where to begin from. We are taught that we should just get here and get our reply and walk out with you for lunch. But we would listen to what you have to say. But Sam, is our answer positive or negative? She queried. I knew if I told them the reply then, the rest would make no sense to them. So I said, you will receive your reply before leaving this room. We are all ears, they chorused. It was obvious that Banji could not believe that these two girls had taken a liking to me. They had even planned it among themselves to send their friends to talk to me to become their servicer. Banji looked from the girls to me and said, oh boy, you mean say before I enter this cabal, this girl, pointing to Sade, don come word you on top say make you dey knack im two friends akpako. I nodded in response and he shook his head in disbelief. I smiled, knowing that he was not aware that his girl was even fantasized about sleeping with me. Banji being surprised is not a new thing. When he is surprised, he could be tensed, but in this situation, he was not. He has a penchant for talking about you as if you are not there. As he was talking, the girls who were also familiar with the pidgin English knew he was talking about them, and as such, they looked askance. They did not know what his reaction would be, but I already knew it. He was happy that we would rock things together with the girls. I looked at the girls and began my lecture. Shade told me that you girls are lesbians. Is it true? I asked another jam question. The two other girls nodded in affirmative. Then I knew that they were all in the act and that they were not in the true know of what they actually were. The look on their face even showed that they were proud of what they think they were. The three of you are not lesbians, I said, and watched the reaction on their faces. I got what I expected. They all looked up and into my eyes with utter disbelief. I continued, yes, you are not lesbians. Lesbians only sleep with their fellow women. They hate the male gender and want nothing to do with them. They get married to their fellow females. They naturally are seen together and do not depend on the male for anything. They believe that only a woman can satisfy a woman sexually. They believe the male are oppressors and even oppresses women when it comes to sex. So they hate to sleep with men. I paused to look at the effects of my word and saw that I had caused a storm in their brains. They knew that they had none of the features I described above. They all depend on the male folks for one thing or the other. Or is there any of you here that hates a man and will not like to have anything to do with a man? I asked them. They still look astonished with what they just heard. Banji was wishing to hear the affirmative. I could guess that from the way he anxiously looked from one girl to the other two, and then finally fixing his gaze on his object of interest, Shade. No, sir. We all love men and can never hate them. We would love to get married one day, but not to our fellow women, Bimbo said after looking into the eyes of the other two, and they had given her the go-ahead to speak. That means that you girls accept that you are not lesbians, I remarked, and they nodded. Then Bola said, sir, if we are not lesbians, then what are we? We sleep with one another almost on a daily basis. We do threesome most of the time. We thought a girl sleeping with girl is called lesbianism, but you said we are wrong. Sir, what are we? I smiled. She had confirmed a part of what I wanted to know. The three of them sleep together and they do it almost daily. What you are and do is called bisexualism. It is when a boy or girl sleeps with his or her fellow boy or girl and still sleeps with member of the opposite sex. In your case, you have sex with another and still have boyfriends who do you well and satisfy you. So, you are not lesbians, you are just bisexual, I enlightened them. A look of relief was awash on their faces as I ended the statement, and they heaved a sign of relief. By then, the staff room was as silent as a graveyard because the other teachers had left the room and we were the only parties left to our business. Banji looked at me and smiled. I knew he was wondering how I got to know so much about the issue at hand. I had never let him into my store of knowledge about sex and sexuality. The girls were pleased with what they had heard and wanted their replies so they can go for their break and as well plan on how my rendezvous with Bimbo and Bola would start in earnest. But I was far from being through with them. I have been able to change their mentality from thinking of themselves as lesbian and making them know what they were. I needed to know how and who taught them the act of bisexuality. These girls, from my observation, did not stumble upon the act. Someone had taught them. I needed to know. My decision had been that I would ask them, and if they refused, I would tell them to go and I would have nothing to do with them. They can go ahead and carry out their threats. Something had told me that with the kind of influence I wield over those girls, they would tell me. They wanted to satisfy their curiosity of sleeping with the only remaining teacher in the school. I was a hot cake. Sir, thank you for the explanation you gave us. We are very grateful. Sir, can we have the reply now so we can go for our break? Bola spoke. She had spoken sparingly since they came into the room. I looked at them and smiled. You can't get your reply now. There is one question you need to answer. If not, your answer would be no, and then I would have nothing to do with you. Then you can always carry out your threat, and I will be waiting for you outside there. Just answer and let's all enjoy it for as long as we can. I replied, showing them into another session of thoughtfulness. Sir, what is the question? We promise to answer it truthfully. Sade, the ever vocal of the three, offered. My question is simple. Who taught you the act of sleeping with one another? I dropped the bombshell. The three of them looked shocked. They looked from one to the other, then to Banji and to me. They had not expected my question. I had caught them off guard. Find out what happened in the next episode of Jide's Diary. If you enjoyed this story, do well to subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Hit on the notification bell so you will get notified when the next episode drops. And don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, share with people that might like the story, and I'll be waiting for your comment in the comment section. Till I come your way in my next episode. This is Bolurex saying bye for now.